You've heard me talk about it over and over, right? The PBC, the Pinterest business community, but most people still underestimate what it actually does for small business owners. It's not just a forum, it's not a place to drop your links and kind of run away. It's genuinely one of the most powerful growth tools Pinterest offers, at least in my opinion. And when you use it sort of intentionally, then everything changes. So today we're going behind the scenes of the PBC, how it really works, and how to use it to grow your business in 2025 and obviously 2026 and beyond. Especially with Pinterest rolling out things like brand new Instagram linking features that make cross-platform visibility easier than ever, right? So welcome back to the Pin and Plan podcast. I'm Lisa. I'm a longtime Pinterest pioneer. I'm a Squarespace web designer and a bit of a nerd really when it comes to that. I am a personal trainer and again, a longtime member of the PBC. You can always find me on the PBC at Body Mind Mood, alternatively on Instagram, Body Mind Mood Fit, and the Simple Site Lab. So if you've ever wondered, why does Pinterest feel confusing like one week and then totally clear the next? The answer is really simple. The people that generally stay plugged into the PBC, such as myself, understand changes before, well, everyone else, right? Speaking of changes, before we move forward, and I've been doing this for a while now, we need to actually talk about what's happening across platforms and social media right now, because honestly, Pinterest, like yesterday, just dropped a major Instagram update that directly affects how small business owners show up on Pinterest. And it's huge, like really huge. So Instagram, Pinterest linking, well, that just leveled up, like totally. Now, Pinterest released official updates yesterday that make cross-platform publishing smoother, smarter, and more beneficial for business owners, especially small business owners. So here's what's officially included. This is directly from Pinterest. Okay, so I'm quoting them. First thing, automatic publishing of your Instagram posts directly to Pinterest. So your posts, including reels and carousels, become pins automatically. How nice is that? Direct linking, which links back to your domain. So auto-published pins linked straight to your claim site, turning visit site clicks, right, into real website traffic. Carousel conversion. This is huge. Instagram carousels convert to full carousel pins. So your content flows exactly as it was intended. So there's no sort of hiccups and choppiness, right, which is really nice. Keyword filtering. If you want to block specific posts, think about ones with the hashtag ad. You can automatically exclude those. And lastly, to my mind, this is the best one. True cross-platform attribution. Now, this is big, okay? So I'm quoting Pinterest. I'm reading it directly as Pinterest wrote it. When you link your Instagram account to Pinterest, you get credit for all pins that come from your Instagram posts, whether they were posted by you or saved by someone else. So what does that mean? It means that your IG posts turn pins show up inside your Pinterest analytics, which is really amazing. You get the engagement, right? The reach and the performance data. Now, what do those mean? What does this all mean? It means it expands your visibility across both platforms without all the extra work. And that is super amazing. Now, on to TikTok, because I'm on TikTok. Everybody's on TikTok. And I've been on TikTok for a long time. So, as someone who uses it, I do, and of course I watch it, and I scroll just like everybody else. You tend to see things happening and changing on platforms when you're there. Now, TikTok, to my mind, is really moving towards search-driven content, right? People are not just jumping on and scrolling, but they're actually typing in things that they want to know about, kind of like what people do on Pinterest. So think about best gifts for, and then you fill in the blank, small business ideas, how to start, I don't know, a small business, right? They're not scrolling trends anymore. They're typing. And video creators on TikTok are technically, to my mind, they're optimizing sort of the same way that bloggers do to capture that traffic. So that's kind of a new shift for TikTok. So that's that, and I think it's pretty cool. It's different, It's not the TikTok I knew or started with, but that's okay. Pinterest, well, I call it the stability platform, right? Because it's so stable. Like it just is. While Instagram in my mind fluctuates and TikTok is starting to evolve in a very, very different way, Pinterest always remains sort of the calm, the center of it all, right? You get a longer lifespan with your content, you get higher purchase intent from pinners and from viewers, stronger search behavior, right? And of course, the PBC, to my mind, sits at the center of it all because it really, truly does help small business owners navigate changes faster and smarter. So, all that said, let's talk about why the PBC is worth your time, right? Let me start with what the Pinterest business community actually is, and because it's not like anything else online, right? Just bear that in mind as you're listening. The PBC is, to my mind, and the way that I see it, is really an official sort of global community. And I say global because I have met and interacted with so many people from like everywhere from, the United States, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, the Middle East, China, South America. Everybody is there. Okay. So it's not a random group. It's not a hack forum. And it's definitely not an algorithm rumor mill, right? Like if you think about other platforms like Reddit, for example, sometimes you get some good info on Reddit, but sometimes, there's a lot of rumors, and Facebook groups are the same way when it comes to Pinterest. There's a lot of, things that are not accurate. How do I know this? Because I'm in some of those groups, and I don't always share that I'm a Pinterest pioneer. And I learn and I listen and I, interact and sort of, and I see these algorithm sort of rumors. Now, this is where small business owners, designers, marketers, right? They gather. They ask questions. They learn about platform updates. They spot trends that are happening early because other members in the PBC are sharing. We all try to help people troubleshoot account issues because that can be so frustrating. And we connect directly with Pinterest team. Who are the Pinterest team? Well, the Pinterest team are moderators, Pinterest employees who are active and who are, they're always there, right, on the PBC. Now, inside of the PBC, you're definitely going to find real conversations about new features, things that are upcoming, maybe things that are going away. You'll always get early insights into changes that affect your content, your account. There's really amazing Q&A threads from people like myself, Pinterest pioneers. We share our knowledge and our experience on Pinterest. And then, of course, obviously from other members and small business owners. There's always tutorials, there's tips, there's polls. Sometimes there's quizzes from some of the Pinterest team and best practices, from the Pinterest team. Okay? But here's the real magic when it comes to the PBC. The value of the PBC for the amount of time that I have been there is really truly in the participation. So if you're participating on a regular basis and you're interacting with pinners, other small business owners, you're interacting with the Pinterest team that includes the moderators and community managers, you're being consistent, right? You're not lurking. There's a difference, and Pinterest will see you as part of the PBC, as part of the community, and as part of sort of the Pinterest ecosystem as a whole. You're not just a user on the PBC. Okay. So how does being active in the PBC actually help your business grow? Well, there's a number of ways that it helps it grow. So here's what really happens when you start showing up consistently, intentionally, right? Number one, you get increased visibility. So your name, when you respond and you interact, your name appears in the threads and the conversations. The Pinterest team, that includes moderators and Pinterest pioneers, they regularly monitor the community and the threads to make sure that it's a safe and positive place to share. So think of it like this: consistency equals recognition. Okay. Second thing, no more guessing. This is my favorite one. Algorithm myths, be gone. Like they are gone. They just fade away really fast. You get real answers that are rooted in people who have real use. They've tested. They have platform, real platform guidance. You get real honest answers. So you're not getting a lot of conspiracy theories. Okay. Idea validation. Now, thinking of launching like a new pin, maybe new content, maybe you're going to switch it up a little bit. Maybe you want to create a board and you've got a name and so on, but you're not really sure and you want some feedback. Maybe you have a new product. If you're a verified merchant on Pinterest, use the PBC as your testing ground, right? We're not there to sell ourselves particularly. It's about sharing and asking questions and getting positive feedback that can actually help you achieve your goals, whatever those might be for your business and whatever they happen to be with Pinterest. Account and shop support. Okay. So if your account gets glitchy, and we've all had this happen, I certainly have, my hand is up. Maybe your shop loses tags or your reach is starting to tank. Someone or someone's persons in the PBC probably have been through it and can help you. So before you freak out, come to the PBC and ask questions. And lastly, collaboration without the competition. Now, this is my favorite thing. You get to meet other small business owners who are ready to cross promote. They share their wins. And essentially, I would say that, small business owners, we all grow together, right? And that's kind of the point, right? Now, let's compare this to what I just said to what's happening outside of Pinterest, because the difference is huge. And don't take it the wrong way. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm even on Facebook. Okay. But the reality is this, and I'm gonna list it for you. So let me be real for a moment. Instagram, right? Support for an issue on Instagram, whether it's with your profile, your content, whatever, it generally equals automated help centers, right? You will never, I have asked 2 questions from support in my entire time on Instagram, and we're talking years here. And it has never been from a real person, ever. Algorithms shift weekly on Instagram. You're always trying to play catch up. I like Instagram, but I find it really challenging when you're trying to maintain and trying to understand the algorithm and what it's doing. And for me, and I'm just going to say this, visibility feels like a real coin flip. You might get lucky, you might not get lucky, maybe, right? Like it's really weird. So even with the new IG interest features that I talked about earlier, Instagram still isn't truly a discussion platform. It is not, there is no PBC to speak of for Instagram. Okay. Now with TikTok, well, there's very little to say here. Community exists on TikTok, not in a structured format like the Pinterest business community. The threads vanish really fast on TikTok, which is annoying because, you may want to share or do something or get information and you can't because it's gone before you can bat an eyelash. And the advice that is given, if I'm being honest, is really scattered and it's really trend dependent. So depending on the trends, that's where, that's how the information and the advice is being shared. That doesn't happen on the PBC. The Pinterest business community, well, it's organized. It is moderated. There are moderators. It is very searchable. And of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's global. So you're meeting small business owners and Pinterest users from all over the world. And that's pretty cool, right? Answers don't disappear on the PBC unless, of course, the content is harmful or the content is inappropriate. But basically, any answer you're looking for, it's there. Threads are not chaotic. It's very clear who asked the question first and people that have answered, how many people viewed it, how many people liked it or didn't like it, and how many people responded with their own, their own comments or help or whatever. And of course, new business owners, when they come to the PBC, they feel welcomed immediately. Okay, there is an introduction thread in the Welcome Center on the PBC. You introduce yourself, your business, what you do, right? And you will always be greeted. How do I know this? Because I did it actually before I recorded this podcast. So it is safe. It's a safe and smart place to understand Pinterest deeply, and to share your business and to network, right? It's great that it still exists, because for a lot of platforms, unfortunately, it just doesn't. So now here's the big question that I'm sure you're probably asking yourself. How do you actually use the PBC strategically? Now, I'm going to share with you 5 steps on how to use the PBC strategically. I will share these in the Spotify notes. I will also share this in a PBC post for you to go and check out on your time. And it's a simple plan, really. Step 1, set up your PBC profile. No, it does not pull in your Pinterest profile. So it's a whole new profile. Okay. You can add your photo, you're going to make it look, the way that you want it to look. You're going to add your niche, your site, and of course your business identity, your business, what you do. Okay. The second thing, step 2, you're going to post monthly, weekly, daily. Okay. And you're going to interact. You can ask a question, share a tip, or share, content. Maybe you've done something new and you want some feedback, right? You could even share a win, right? Maybe you had a pin that did really, really well and you want to share it with the community. Go for it. Now, step 3, you're going to follow, pinners, other members, right? Pioneers like myself, and of course the Pinterest staff. So, the community managers, moderators. Now, this will keep you on top of opportunities and updates and insights, right? You're going to be able to learn a whole lot of stuff. Step 4, participate in the polls, the quizzes, the challenges. These will definitely get you visibility instantly on the Pinterest business community. And, you get to share who you are as a pinner, right? There's so many cool things when you participate in the polls and the quizzes. I love them. And lastly, step 5, you're going to repurpose everything, right? A smart comment becomes a pin becomes a reel becomes a blog post, and your content gets used more, right? So it's a pretty cool thing to do. Now, let's get into my favorite part of the show, and I do this every week. It's the Pin and Plan Pioneer Tip of the Week. So let's do this. My tip for you guys, treat the PBC like a mini marketing channel. Okay, so every time you show up, every answer, every insight, every conversation, remember everything that you participate in on the PBC, you're actually building your authority, who you are as a small business owner and a pinner inside of Pinterest, the Pinterest business community, and the Pinterest ecosystem as a whole. Okay. And a lot of business owners, small business owners who don't know about the PBC, or maybe they do, but they don't realize this. But the ones who do realize it, they generally grow faster. Okay. So, my suggestion is always to show up, participate, right? And share what you know, what you've experienced, maybe ask questions, learn things, read the posts, participate in some of the webinars that they have. Okay. It will really help you. And then of course, I'm going to just quickly move into my real PBC Q&A. It's from a PBC member. They say, I'm new here and I don't know what to post there in the PBC first. What should I do? Well, my answer is start with a simple post, an introduction or a quick win. Now, as I mentioned before, there is an introduction thread on the PBC, so where you can introduce yourself and your business. You can jump into a thread. Maybe you're reading through the comments and posts, and maybe you see something that you can contribute to. Jump into it. It might relate to your niche. It might relate to something else. Tell people what you do and what brought you to Pinterest, right? Share with them who you are and why you're here. And you don't need a strategy for your first post. You just, as I said, you just need to show up, right? That's the most important thing that you can actually do. So that's a wrap on episode 19. Okay. The Pinterest business community is one of the most, in my opinion, now I say this in my opinion, powerful tools for small business owners that, generally gets overlooked. So when you combine it with sort of the new things that are happening between Instagram and Pinterest and all the great things that are happening online, Pinterest becomes even more of a long-term growth platform for 2026 and beyond, I would say. Okay. Now, next week, episode 20, we are diving into holiday shopping on Pinterest. Yep, because Christmas is literally around the corner. How to drive Christmas traffic and sales without the burnout. So until then, keep pinning with purpose, and I will see you inside the PBC. Bye for now.